Hello, how are you guys doing? My name is Rob of Rule of Two Review, and welcome back. So once again, we are not looking at footage of my awesome bearded face, and again watching some footage of Skyrim running on the Switch. I happen to be really busy, just got home late at night after work, and my girlfriend and I have to go pick up our awesome friend from back home in Denver who is coming to visit and stay with us for the week to check out the brand new Star Wars Episode 8 The Last Jedi premiere in just a couple of days. Super exciting, and she's coming out to visit and stay with us for the week just for that reason. So since I'm picking her up like really soon, I didn't really have time to get set up with the camera and do the whole fancy editing that comes with that stuff. So it's just this awesome gameplay footage as we discuss this quick Nintendo topic. So in a weird way, this happens to be kind of a pseudo update to a video I made a week or so ago where I discussed the Nintendo Switch's sales, the unit sales, and whether or not there is the possibility of the Switch outselling or outpacing the Nintendo Wii. It was the second time I made a video on that topic. It has been a big conversation because we've only seen incredibly strong and surprising sales of the Nintendo Switch as far as worldwide units sold of the console itself. And it was a really fun conversation, and it took a very interesting and positive turn this morning where Nintendo tweeted this out, confirming more amazing news. Thanks to you, Nintendo Switch has sold 10 million units worldwide in 9 months. Here's to an amazing 2018. So there you have it. It is just confirmed that in exactly 9 months, the Nintendo Switch has managed to finally hit double digits and sell 10 million units worldwide. It has been shattering expectations and breaking records and selling like crazy, impossible to find throughout most of its life since it launched. It's just been such a madhouse when it comes to the Nintendo Switch, and as I've discussed numerous times, it's been really fantastic and exciting to see. So happy for Nintendo, so proud of Nintendo as both a gamer and also as a Nintendo fan, and I think it's been really interesting and fun to acknowledge how cool all of this really is. And so now we're looking at 10 million units sold in 9 months. I mean, it is creeping up on the Wii U, and things just look like they're going to continue with all these new game announcements, and the excitement and interest level in the Switch is just simply not waning. So I wanted to discuss a couple of things on what this could mean. And I will most immediately address the whole Nintendo Wii thing, since that relates to, like I was saying earlier in the video, a video and a conversation I had a couple of weeks ago that was very popular, and a lot of people had some interesting things to say on it. And so if we kind of revisit that in the scope of, oh my gosh, Nintendo just confirmed 10 million units sold in less than a year, this is really fantastic. Does this suddenly change that conversation and the idea of whether or not the Nintendo Switch will or will not outsell the Wii? And in my opinion, no. I don't think it changes that conversation, which I know might seem a little bit surprising to you guys, but bear in mind, that's not necessarily a bad thing, and in no way does it take away from the amazing achievement that hitting this 10 million mark so early in the Switch's life really truly is. So I don't want to downplay how awesome this news is. It really is that great and positive, but as far as the comparison to the Switch and the Wii and what the Wii accomplished and could the Switch possibly do it again, I'm going to stick to my guns and my initial kind of thesis from that video. I'm sticking 50-50 at this point. Whereas, you know, before the Switch launch, I was pretty dead set that the Switch had almost no chance at catching the Wii. I've now greatly improved its chances just from my own personal opinion, and I do think there's a 50-50 shot, man. We could see it meet that 110, 120 million, whatever units the Wii sold and even more, or we might not yet see it get that high, which, as I've also said, is totally okay and acceptable. The Switch doesn't need to do that to be a big hit, and I don't want to retread that video and that topic any more than that, but ultimately I will say, if you're trying to play it smart and be a little bit objective at looking at this and not just getting caught up in the hype and the excitement of the Switch being so great and selling so well and hitting this 10 million units, I think you'll see it's pretty silly to really commit to yourself one way or another. The Switch is an amazing anomaly. Anything could happen. It depends on how long its life lasts. So for now, let's just ride this out and just talk about how great this is. Something else that's important to note and take away from this, I think, is this really probably truly means that more so than even I and many other people had already been predicting, we're only going to continue to see more success as far as games coming to the console, you guys. Now that Nintendo hit that magic 10 million unit mark, and they've done it within the first year, within the first 9 months. It only took 3/4 of a year to get here, which people did start to predict back in like the early summer that probably this was going to happen before the end of 2017. Now that Nintendo has hit this, I mean, people more so, and when I say people, I guess I mean the industry and developers, more so than they already were, are probably really taking note of the Switch and just really stepping back looking at the whole picture and saying, wow, damn, this is a big deal. This system is killing it. People are interested in it. People like it. People want to play and buy their games on this console because it is so unique and it offers such a great fun experience and a unique way to be able to play your games on your TV or anywhere else you go on the planet. And so, you know what? Maybe we were kind of trepidatious. We were being a little bit reluctant when it comes to bringing some of our titles over to this platform. And you know what? We got to throw that out the window. I think we have to say, hey, this thing is great. People want it. People are buying it. People are into it. We got to find ways to bring more of our games over to this console. And so, whereas we can obviously expect Nintendo to keep bringing it as far as their games, and again, something else I've discussed numerous times, you guys don't probably need to hear me talk about again, I think that the third-party situation will continue, which, again, reminding you, I predicted that. I've been saying that for months and months on my videos, way before we had an inkling that the Nintendo Switch was even going to hit this 10 million units so quickly. So I think, whereas third parties were starting to jump on board and we were seeing some of these big, awesome games and these big budget, great games like a Doom and an LA Noire, I think it's going to continue. And, you know, games I've already predicted, Grand Theft Auto, Call of Duty, we're going to see those games next year. Probably Madden. I know EA is like a big controversial thing right now, and for good reason, but that doesn't mean that their sports games and games that they make aren't still going to continue to be a big deal even next year, even though people hate them now. Those games will matter and be big sellers, and to get a Madden and hopefully a competent FIFA and an NHL and stuff brought over to the Switch next year could be huge, and I expect to start seeing a lot more of that stuff happen next year. So hitting this milestone for the Switch is a really, really big deal because one of the things it could do is continue to give us more great games. And I think the one last thing I want to touch on before wrapping up this video is what this represents to see Nintendo Switch see this insane and almost unprecedented success. It's not actually unprecedented. Nintendo themselves did it with the Wii, Sony's done it with the PS4, and I think also the PS2, but I can't remember 100%. But whereas it's not unprecedented, it's close to unprecedented, and again, it is that impressive. And to see this happening with Nintendo, what it shows is you just can't count Nintendo out, man. It's so silly, and a lot of diehard Nintendo fans have been saying this and joking about this for years, for decades. Everyone says doom and gloom for Nintendo, yet they continually prove everyone wrong, and they continually defy odds, and they defy and shatter expectations, and just when you think they're done for and it's time to stick a fork in them and say bye-bye Nintendo, you just couldn't cut it, they come back and they kick everyone else's ass, and they do it in the most spectacular, superb, and fun way. And so, unfortunately, comparing to the system that I do love but was an utter failure, the Wii U, when we see what Nintendo is achieving right now in 2017 with the Switch's success and this 10 million unit milestone happening so soon, off of the 4.5 years that was the very disastrous Wii U sales, again, great system, great piece of hardware, incredible library, a controller that I liked, most didn't, but I did. So the system wasn't bad, but it was an utter disaster of a failure, so sadly to admit. And here Nintendo digs themselves out of this hole in the most incredible fashion. And this shows that Nintendo, and this isn't really just like, oh, I'm a blind Nintendo fanboy. I love them, so I'm just going to praise them just because. I mean, I'm talking about this as impartially as possible. Factually, Nintendo almost can't be stopped. I mean, that's really what this shows me. And, you know, I was somebody as a Nintendo fan going into the Switch that knew, okay, I'm going to like the system, but I also questioned, can it be a success? Will it be a hit? Will it undo the damage of the Wii U? Will Nintendo ever be fantastic and be on top again, or have they lost the ability to do that? Just because I thought the Switch was going to be pretty cool because I like Nintendo consoles doesn't mean I blindly said, oh yeah, Nintendo's going to be great forever, they'll never mess up again, they're always going to be the greatest, they'll always be number one, that's just it. No way, man. I was totally worried and nervous about the fortunes of Nintendo and the future of the Switch. I was very, very terrified that it was going to not be a big hit, even though I knew I would probably like the console and the library. And luckily, like I've been saying, Nintendo, they basically just can't be stopped, man. I mean, obviously that's probably not exactly true. You know, there's a little bit of hyperbole going on here because sure, some insane thing and an insane disaster and an unprecedented level of mistakes could happen from Nintendo over and over and over again, that over the course of another 5 or 6 years in the future, yes, Nintendo might utterly destroy their business. But, I mean, let's be realistic here. That's not going to happen. They've learned some really great lessons, just like Sony and Microsoft have in their past as well. And so, Nintendo's fine, man. Even if they get into those dark times and they start struggling like they have in the past with the Wii U or the GameCube or whatever, they're going to be fine. They are so smart and savvy, and even if they're slow to adopt things that make a difference, they eventually get themselves there. And again, when they do it pretty much better than anyone else around them. So there you go, man. 10 million Switches sold 9 months in. By the time we hit the 1 year mark in March 2018, we really might see a 13 or 14 million unit total for the Switch, if not even more, which means it will have surpassed the entire 4.5 year life sales of the Wii U in literally its first calendar year, which will only continue for the next probably 4 years. So it's going to be great, man. I mean, I'm not going to go into any more numbers as far as my prediction for final totals yet, but I will probably do that halfway through the year next year. We'll have a pretty good idea, and I'll be able to give you some numbers I feel a little bit more comfortable with. But for now, let's just enjoy this. Let's celebrate this the way Nintendo is. Congrats, Nintendo, and thank you, Nintendo, for making a great console and bringing us a great library, first-party and third-party alike. And yeah, so that's it. What do you guys think about this monumental achievement, this huge milestone for Nintendo and the Switch? Are you excited? Do you see this as a great thing and a great sign for the future? What do you think about a couple of the elements as far as how this breaks down and what this means for Nintendo and the future of the Switch? Discuss all that fun stuff below. And this is, of course, Rob of Rule of Two Review. I will catch you guys next time on another video.